We're joined in the media center now by funny car qualifier Ron Capps, who powered his Napa Auto Parts Dodge Charger to a 3.88 second pass at 328.78 miles per hour to 388 with a track record. You've qualified number 1 at 3 of the last 4 races, and you also won 3 of the last 4 races. Are you feeling pretty consistent?
Yeah, but again, like I said, every race we do this. You hope that carries over, and I'm so happy to drive this race car right now. I keep saying that, but you got to remember, every year we say this is the most competitive funny car's ever been. To take that a step further, I've always bragged about racing these magnificent minds of Chiefs and funny car. Dragster too, but I mean, funny car is just unbelievable. So to do what we've done with the number 1 qualifiers and win those 3 races is so above and beyond just winning. And I hate hearing dominate what people are saying. Hey, championship. Man, it's so far off. But the point is, there's too many good teams. It ain't gonna last, but as long as we're one of the top cars and we can just keep doing what we're doing, we're gonna have fun until the end of the year. And again, all it's doing is making these other crew chiefs go back to the drawing board, and that's what made Ron Tobler go back to the drawing board. And we were off a little bit, and we got to New Hampshire, and he made up for it, and it's been great since then. So it's just it's fun right now in funny car. It's great to run like we're running, but you got to imagine the competition it's back at the back of the lanes there, and these numbers just keep dropping. And Wilkerson goes 330. That was awesome to watch. So happy for a guy like that. But the ETs just boom, 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 and I'm thinking, man, are we going to be there? And just by a hair, we got it. So we'll just keep trying to chug away at it.
According to your stat man here, Jeff Wolf, 29 of your last 34 runs have been sub 40, and you're doing that in the dead of summer. Does that give you confidence heading into the second half of the season?
Yeah, it gives me confidence. Every time, I forgot what the count was, but Tobler loves to keep track, but the amount of runs that we went down the track under power, and Jeff could probably look that up, was in the 40s, high 40s, low 50s, of continually going down the track under power. That in itself blows my mind as a funny car driver, and any driver in funny car will tell you that. It's an amazing feat to have a car go down the track that many times. You take it a step further, and to add number 1 qualifiers on top of it, it's just fun right now. We got a great, on top of having a Intrepid Fallen Heroes car here and running it in the month of July with all the millions that Napa donates for that great cause. It's great to be here in Chicago, night racing, flames up, world qualifier. It doesn't get any better.
Questions for Ron?
Ron, so much of this is crew and technical. How much of this is you keep doing week after week?
Well, I got to do my job, but it's Tobler and I had a pretty good heart-to-heart. The rumor going around right now is that some teams have complained about these headers. After a few races, these last few races, some drivers had issues with the front end coming up, and a couple of the drivers and teams had complained, crew chiefs on other teams, that I guess it was getting unsafe. Of course, this happens when I happen to be running good, so I'm a little upset about it, but I'm disappointed. Talking to NHRA and hearing who complained, that bummed me out. But you got to imagine, go back to St. Louis last year. I hit about everything I could hit with this funny car, and then almost ran over somebody at the top end trying to get off the track. They've become a fun class because it's put the driver back into funny car. They're not slot cars. And they were slot cars for a while. This is fun right now because it's so on the edge. It's why people want to watch pro mods. You don't know if they're going to make it to the finish line, but funny car right now is so fun because you don't know what's going to happen as a driver, even with your own car. So I love the technology and what everybody's doing. I love that we're running good, but I forgot what your question was.
How much of it is you and how much of the crew?
To answer your question, Tobler and I had a pretty good heart-to-heart in the off-season and at Pomona, which we ended up winning. Saturday night in Pomona, we were like a married couple, and he went to work very hard in the off-season and made this car much more drivable for me. And that's the only reason why I'm getting to the finish line and keep it in the groove. because we had this car last year. I just couldn't control it. So it's been a very big team effort. No, it's not me. It's just I'm able to do my little part.
Is the rest of that with the headers and the complaining just sour grapes and 330?
You can call it what you want, but it's like I said, I'm disappointed in who it is because we weren't complaining when some of these teams that were running and winning races in the countdown last year. And you go back again to St. Louis when I was all over the place with my car. I knocked cones over right across the center line. And these teams, that some of them which are complaining now, were running pretty good. And all we did was work harder to get there. So, you know, whatever happens with NHRA, whether they put a moratorium on headers and put them back to where they used to be, it doesn't matter. We're going to work just as hard, but it's unfortunate because I really feel like right now is for the first time in a long time, since Jimmy Prock put those headers on last year, sent everybody back to the drawing board in the middle of summer, drivers are back in it, and it's not a slot car. And that makes me happy. It's the funnest I've ever had in my 19 years of driving a funny car. This is because it's high anxiety, it's fun. Great.
Ron, you kind of just answered what I was going to ask you, but nevertheless, in all of your years as a competitor, has it ever felt this good, like it feels for you as a competitor right now?
There's times I've had great cars, and like I said 2 weeks ago or last weekend, I've gotten the list of guys that I text and I talk to that were my crew chiefs: Roland Leong, Dale Armstrong, Ed the Ace McCullough for a lot of years, Tim Richards. It's pretty neat guys. It's very experienced and very cool crew chiefs. And I've had great cars at times with those guys. Pretty good runs where we almost won championships, but never have I had a car that's ran this good for this many races. Where you pull up in the staging lanes and we're last pair, and it's that moment of like, okay, everybody's throwing their shot. Now I think we can better that. It's just confidence, and it's not cockiness. Anybody knows me knows it's not cockiness. It's fun right now. I've never had so many drivers not talk to me the last couple races. They just don't. I used to have everybody in the world talking to me when I was qualifying 8th and 9th, and we were, you know, running okay, but not like we're running now. And all of a sudden, it's crickets. You ask most, if not all, the other funny car drivers, I'm the first one to text them, even though they're not my teammates. If they win a race, or I do something pretty good, they'll get a text message. I'm always one of the first guys to do it. All of a sudden, the last 2 races, I get no text messages, no messages, no voicemails from people. Tommy Johnson Jr. was the only one to send me a text message after the win in Norwalk. And that's okay. It is what it is. People are upset, and I get upset when we're not running good because I want to be the guy that's running good. So I'm just enjoying the ride right now.
Anything else for Ron?
You were confident that whole last run? There wasn't anything that shook you up at all throughout the run?
No. About half track, it had a lot of clutch dust in it. I thought, ooh, that might have hurt some ET, and maybe it might run 90 flat. And then as I hit the parachute button, I glanced up the scoreboard, because once in a while on these tracks you can see the scoreboard at 1,000 foot, and I saw the 88, and I went, wow, that was unbelievable. We did it again. So it'll be another nice session tomorrow. You never know what's going to happen, but for tonight, hats off to Tobler and all the guys, because they deserve it.
Okay.
All right, thanks, Ron.
Thanks.